whispers as well around picks like the Zoe as well as the LeBlanc, being able to utilize it well. We actually also had an Akali with Static Chip earlier, and to be fair, UCal did kind of pop off on it, but I feel like it's not particularly the best. Now, one thing that is off the top of my head, which is up and available, Lucian, Aphelios, Zeri, all the AD carries are here, and Weibo will spare no time in locking in the Aphelios here for Light.
Yeah, get the Aphelios in. It is still very, very powerful, especially when you know that's something that the Vi is taken away. Just kind of the premier jungler right now. We'll see how BLG want to try and bring themselves in. They are no strangers. They are no kind of, you know, not afraid, I suppose, to kind of lock in their solo laners right and early. They don't really mind giving Elkanon kind of lower priority because they have so much confidence in that bot lane to say, look, there's only so many bans and you can't ban away everything.
Yeah, exactly. So Annie gets locked in. Things like the Wukong can also go alongside this. Things like the Viego as well. Zeri, if you want an AD carry. Anything really that pairs well with the Annie or just an AD carry, right? It's that simple. You could also technically go down the route of Lucian Nami if you want to have a strong duo, but I feel like, for me, into the Aphelios, you really have to slam it if you do take it. So I prefer that they go towards the Wukong for now and just lock in a very, very strong mid-jungle duo.
Yeah, get that strong mid-jungle, give yourself that big AoE team fight. And that's the thing, that's why Annie Wukong is so powerful, is that you get the sundown from Annie, you get the Cyclone going off. You can't really move if it's on the top of the Aphelios for any time at all. So we'll see what Weibo want to try and respond with here. Of course, the Maokai is still left open, so something they can lean towards if they wanted to. Maybe get that Jace into that mid lane. But the Gragas does a similar thing. And this is Xiao, who's basically kind of exclusive mid lane champion. He has been picking this so much recently just to kind of give himself that pressure. I will say it could still technically flex into Weiwei, and that's going to be Renekton now locked in for the Shy. So the Shy getting himself a little bit of a carry.
Yeah, I mean, not too bad. We've seen a lot of Renekton priority over the last few weeks since the buffs, of course, so a lot of teams very happy to pick this one up. And I mean, the amount of clips that are just coming out of Renekton just having these massive pop-off team fights is huge. But one thing this also does kind of dissuade is Bin going towards something like the K'Sante, but he has the Kennen, and I mean, this going through and being locked in now for BLG, it's just a shotgun comp right now, right? It's, you know, Annie, Wukong, Kennen. How well can Weibo defend against all of this hard engage with AoE damage?
I love that you brought it up earlier as well. It was something that you said that, like, you know, the Shy and Bin are not afraid of going toe-to-toe. They don't need to play tanks. It just happens that the meta right now is around those particular picks. So love that we're seeing this coming in here for the side of BLG and Weibo as well. And I want to see some fireworks. I want to see these junglers, depending on if that's a Gragas jungle or not. I want to see them going up towards that top side and making things happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, Bin being ahead or having gold on something like the Kennen, we've seen how many times he's just rolled into team fights and absolutely 1v5. But not only that, even if he doesn't get ahead, like, Kennen will still provide a massive amount of resources for the team. And same thing for the Renekton, right? Because of how much power it seems to be bringing to a lot of these team fights here in the LPL at the moment. Like you mentioned, I would love to see Shun or Weiwei get out towards the top side and try and influence the top side of the map. Could be difficult. There is a fair amount of nuance around the Kennen Renekton matchup, which can make it difficult. But away from that, I do like this potential Poppy call out, just because if BLG are looking to go towards something like, let's say, Zyra Khan, Poppy could be a very, very easy to lock in champion here for Weiwei, which would very happily dissuade all of the engage or follow-up setup from Shun and on those two picks, as Weibo likely, actually, they call it out themselves. They say, you know what, Poppy banned, we're going to remove the Rakan, so Zyra Khan as a duo will be infinitely weaker.
Yeah, honestly, I love this coming in from Weibo as well. You think of Rakan. Honestly, if I think of Rakan, I think of On. That's just straight up how I think right now, because it does feel like right now BLG's support is feeling like the best support in the league, even above missing. You know, unfortunately, it's a 5v5 game, so not quite able to have the kind of the full team set up to take down JDG. But now BLG, give Elk the Zeri, and this is something that he's been popping off of in spring. He's had plenty of practice in, and look, Zeri is still busted, still very survivable as well, considering they will be jumped on by a Gragas and a Renekton.
Yeah, absolutely. So I expect that BLG will try to take up the Lulu. I don't feel like they want to have to deal with that. You know, of course, the Zeri plus Lulu. They could, of course, still go towards the Nautilus instead and just accept that Zeri and Lulu will Zeri and Lulu, but just stack the engage, right, between the Nautilus and the Gragas. So that's the option they go towards. Seems like, I mean, if they go towards the Sejuani, it's going to be very, very heavy bruiser, but it would stack the engage. But options are plenty for Weiwei, honestly, in a composition like this. It really depends on where Weibo exactly want to land, as the jungle pool hasn't necessarily been pinched too hard this game.
Yeah, and you can tell your dog as well that he thinks the Nocturne, I believe in him, he thinks the Nocturne should be coming out here.
Yeah.
He believes in it because it's dive, dive, dive. Jamada's dog gives it the seal of approval to get himself into that particular setup, and you can see the laugh coming in there. They kind of feel it, and honestly, this Braum could be massive here for BLG.
Oh,
you look at everything coming at you, trying to get on top of your face.
Dude, this kind of Braum angle is one that just solo wins a game. Like, the 2v2 all of a sudden on the bot side becomes really, really hard to navigate. Engaging generally as well in the mid game, like you mentioned, all of a sudden becomes an absolute chore. So I love this from BLG holding R5 for support. As honestly, there was another series as well the other day where a very similar thing happened. There was a very heavy dive comp and Braum just came in at R5 and it just broke the game. So let's see how Weibo deal with this, because it is 4 melee champions that all want to go in and effectively will get minced by things like the Zeri, by things like the Kennen, and of course the Braum will help lock down those targets as well. So I think Weibo have a lot in their hands that they're going to have to deal with. I think the only way you can really break this tempo machine is by trying to just have a really early dominating lead to ensure that you can just kind of smack BLG of your wallets.
That's the big thing. You kind of want to see them being very proactive. The ease of execution feels like it's on top of BLG. They're the ones that kind of have to wait, throw out a couple of ultimates to maybe disengage. But then once everything's been used by Weibo, they actually have very little left. Once the explosive cast, the paranoia, and the dominus has been all popped off, it's kind of like, well, what else have you got? So really want to see Weibo being creative, maybe looking to try and keep the pressure and the tempo of the game in their favor. But this is BLG, one of our fastest, if not the fastest average game time we have in the LPL. They love to play the skirmishes, and sometimes, you can get lost in the sauce. You got to remember who the cook is.
Yeah, I love that saying. You can get lost in the sauce. You have to remember who the cook is. Well, I guess we'll see who's cooking in this game, right? I think there's plenty of fantastic chefs in this matchup here, Sheen. We've seen it throughout the entire year, and we've seen it for years for certain players here in this matchup. But here we are, game number 1 for BLG and Weibo.
We almost get a level 1. This one right now, just kind of using it as a little bit of a sentry to move forward here, but hook misses there onto Yagao. There is a TP that's being put into the mid lane. That's going to be the Kennen coming in off a bit of a flank, but that the Gravitum's going to bring everyone there. It's going to be a very close little fight, full 5v5, and we're only 6.5 minutes into the game. They do not know the Kennen is here! And the slicing Maelstrom decimates Weibo. They didn't know. They had no idea, but they're trying to turn this one back because the health bars are so good. This Shy did enough, and now over the wall, Light tries to make it back for his team. Weibo traded 3 for 2. How did they come out of that on the better half? This isn't like, it's weird because, Paranoia comes down on the bot side, and yeah, you're dead, Bin. Nothing you can do about that. That's the kind of combination I wanted to see. And On put up the shield the wrong way, and the Shy was looking for a little bit of a flank. Now a TP's coming in. They're going to try and jump onto the Shy with the slicing Maelstrom to keep him down. He was isolated, and that's the kind of plays we're talking about. BLG found an opportunity, and they took it immediately.
Gonna find Weiwei in that version. Shun's just gonna immediately turn around. Oh my goodness, they want the engage?
Yeah, Chris went a bit too far forward with his hook, so now he's kind of isolated himself, and he will be taken out by Yagao. Now the Shy trying to see if he can jump onto Yagao. They've already used a lightning crash. They're going to burn him down. That's a lot of alcohol shown right into the face of the Annie. Burns her all the way, and that's a 1-for-1 trade, so we're seeing a tit for tat. This game is going nowhere. The gold has stayed the same, and this honestly will probably go down to a massive 5v5 probably around the Baron. Using that information, they're kind of saying, look, they don't think that we're going to do it without Zeri.
Yeah, and it's already at 6k, and they've got to check into vision. This should be dead. They have to go hard engage right now, Weibo.
They have to. Here we go. They're going to try and find Weiwei on the backside here. Bin getting explosive cast right in on top of everybody, but they're isolated. This is not what you want, but now Elk, seeing if he can turn the tides of this fight, will be able to take down Crisp. And it's again another 1-for-1. The key difference here, though, is that Bin did not lose his flash and didn't have a chance to lose his teleport. It's a smite fight when it's not a smite fight at all. Here's going to be the engage from Crisp. Xiaohu kind of corralling, herding everyone back towards this one. The Shy goes in, but he's a little bit isolated, and the Shy will lose his GA first. Now, can you re-engage here as Weibo? That is the question. Knock up dead. 5v4 is the next little bit as we have a little bit of a 1v1. Bin has to deal with Wei. Wei gets stunned up. Wei's getting taken down. And Wei loses his GA, but Bin trades his life. You can see just how much resources BLG had to throw at this just to have a chance in this fight. With the Baron pushing in that mid lane, it's difficult.
Ashin, there's still Flash and Tibbers available from Yagao, and he's just about off vision. I think they spotted him out. That blue wall definitely did now.
Yeah, they're going to go from Xiaohu's going to see if he can make this one work. He has got the stopwatch. Excuse me, the Zhonya's. His light kind of puts in the work. Elk jumps over, out of the frying pan and into the fire. Elk is dead. On goes down as well. Yagao trying his absolute best, but a TP towards that bot lane means that Weibo will be taking a 1-0 advantage. Flash, hook on top of Sean, and he is going to go down as well. Another ace comes out as Weibo take themselves to 1-0 in this series.
Yes, they will indeed, and out of the fire, into the frying pan, into the darkness for Elk in the back end of that play. And it means Weibo will very happily take this game number 1. And, I mean, honestly, uphill battle, right? Compositionally, this is one where you'd maybe favor BLG, but Weibo do not care about that. They created a big enough gold lead, and they will happily stroll into game number 2 ahead.
And our Weibo, just the kryptonite. Wei has played the Poppy. This is not guaranteed to go into that jungle role, so we'll wait to see where BLG want to try and take their draft, and I imagine Bin will be getting himself priority as last pick to figure out where everything's going to be going.
Yeah, exactly. So BLG still go towards the Rakan, despite that Poppy being there. It does mean that BLG with no AD carry will definitely have this pool pinch, so, you know, expect the Zeri ban, expect maybe even the Lucian ban as well, or maybe the Zyre as well. Probably makes a little bit more sense. And Lucian seems that the Rakan is already there, so I think those bans probably very telegraphed here for Weibo, and BLG will just pinch what they can from the support role. Maybe the Leona alongside it. Wow, Weibo still putting a lot of respect on Bin's name, going towards the Kennen, so
yeah,
don't really care about what AD carry Elk will get. Just saying, look, we think that it doesn't really matter in this one. We are more focused on Bin and his ability to actually impact the team fights.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing, is that we're seeing them saying, look, this is kind of where the big thing is going. I will say that if it's up against the Poppy, which it looks like with the Kennen ban coming in, that feels like what's going into the Shy's hands. So they're probably just saying, look, we don't need to try and, reinvent the wheel. Keep the Poppy relevant. Get it going on in the future of the, kind of into the later stages of the game, where it becomes a much, much bigger problem for the side of BLG. Things like the Vi, the Rakan struggle so heavily when trying to deal with the Poppy steadfast presence.
Yeah, exactly. Let's wait and see exactly, because the Poppy could also be flexed into that top lane, like you kind of half alluded to. So depending on what Bin goes towards here on this R5, because this should just be Xayah, or Nazari was banned away, so it should just be Xayah. Bin will definitely have a little bit of pick of the litter here. So Weibo split those bans with that in mind. I'm kind of trying to rack my brain on what BLG will look towards here in the support role, or I mean, technically, that Gragas and the Poppy are flexed in every role, besides the AD role.
True,
so,
actually, very true.
The more you think about it, so this is really going to be a bit of a cards will now be turned up for Weibo, more likely than not. Let's see, here's Renar being hovered here, and they will lock this one in, I imagine, as it's into Rakan, pretty strong lane matchup, and if BLG are looking to go forward, this will always be able to turn it around, and the Cassante did go unpicked, and it seems like they will lock this one in.
We'll wait to see where they want to try and bring that last one. I love seeing the Renata coming out as well. You look at all the champions that are here for BLG, just kind of really punish a lot of the kind of, short-range champions that everyone wants to kind of jump onto your face with. Now we'll get to see where this Poppy goes in the last pick. Let's see, potentially go for the Cassante. Yeah, lock that one in. Technically speaking, could be a Gragas top with a Cassante mid. We still have yet to see where that goes. We've seen the Annie kind of being people picking the Cassante into the Annie quite a few times actually here in the LPL. So now with BLG, what you've got, I mean, this is a great answer here to just try and all in with the all in. You're just kind of saying to everybody, go, go, go. Nothing else to be done here. But I was just about to say, would leave you a little bit kind of wanting on the sideline. So Gwen gets locked in, a signature for Bin, something he has won an MSI with, and something he wants to continue to push in here with this series and continue the series on to 3 games.
Yeah, exactly. So this Gwen pick going to be hyperscaling on the side lane, right? I think what the beauty of the Weibo comp is they could actually probably flex around these picks and end up with slightly stronger lanes than I believe what they're going to land on, which is going to be the Shy with Cassante and Xiaohu with Gragas. But I think still, compositionally, right? 3 bruisers, a lot of frontline. Light is going to have to put on a bit of a 1v9 show here because he is so much, if not all of Weibo's late game damage, whereas BLG have more professors to play through, right? Bin on Gwen is always going to be a monster, and of course, on the bottom side, we've got that Xayah on Elk. We know Xayah is so capable of mincing through front lines if she goes untouched and she can dodge away from some of that CC via the Featherstorm.
Yeah, absolutely, and big moment here for BLG and for Weibo. Both these teams are massively huge implications coming into this one here. Not only would you be able to get themselves a much higher win-loss in the standings, but you'd also be able to get yourself the head-to-head should it come down to that later on the season. That top two, oh so elusive and oh so powerful. And it's going to be a big one. Weibo already 1-0 up in this series. BLG looking to bounce back with a signature Bin Gwen. We'll see if they're able to try and right this ship, right themselves back up into the series and send us to 9 games on the day, or if Weibo will finally look like they can get themselves some consistency and build themselves back up into this series, build themselves back up into the confidence of the LPL fans. It's all to play for. It's all about to kick off. We jump in onto the red for game number 2 of this best of 3. Access to the commentators' comms.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh. Wow, okay. A lot of respect.
Okay. Double flash burned, but on respectful.
Here we go. All right, Weiwei, this is what I wanted to see. Aggressive dive. Level 1, both on Elk.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way you can get out of this one here on. You're going to go down. Great tanking of the tower here. Elk should be able to pick up level 2. There it is.
Redive it,
they
honestly.
redive it, but it's risky.
I mean, if you can make Elk miss the wave, I don't mind.
Oh, it's beautiful! It's absolutely beautiful, and that forces everything. Elk gets himself a 1-for-1 trade, and what could have been exceptional for Weibo, Elk turns right on its head. Yeah, he didn't know. The flanking Xayah is the deadliest. It's not exactly something we're used to seeing, but they want to donate this one over to Elk. Honestly, they might actually just have to try and take this one. Yep, I was going to say that's getting a little risky, and Elk was getting a little bit lower, so nice little move there from BLG. Again, creative, finding opportunities which you're just not going to be expecting from the side of Weibo.
Carry to be behind you. It's that simple.
Oh, they're doing it again.
Oh.
Another flank, another kill, and this time Elk can pick it up. Nicely done. I'm telling you, man, the bird in the bush is the one that's the scariest.
But still, very, very strong and powerful and ready to skirmish around this objective as, yeah, teleport.
Oh, he's waiting for him. He's waiting for him to go all out. Oh, it's so massive. Giga Brain. Yagao called it. Yagao said he's going to all out him over here, and I'm just going to be waiting. Oh, my God. It's so brilliant. And he's going to be just as tanky to kind of survive it. I will say, we'll have to flash away. But the snip, snip, snip. Rock, paper, scissors. This time, scissors beats rock. Will get himself in line for a little bit of gold there from the local gold, but going to be falling down too light. So light now 2-0.
It's actually still up. I don't know if they're going to be able to contest for it and get it, but it is still here as
Light.
Oh my God!
Oh, Light! He had to flash. There was so much damage coming in here from the Tibbers, and now we go back in on top of this one here. Xiaohu gets caught up in a little bit of a charm. Rakan's got a lot of charisma, and now a TP comes in. It's pandemonium right now, Jamada. There's no time to breathe. There's no time for analysis as they get booted right out of there. Fantastic ultimate there from the Poppy.
BLG should be securing this one during the replay. Let's get a look at how Xiaohu got caught out. Looks like it's just Elk and on both sides. Does he go in? Does he?
Yeah.
He doesn't get to... Oh, okay. Right. Sure. Sucks. Can't really do much about that. I don't know what else I could say, honestly.
When you say sure, it's like when you know like a kid's lying or something, you're like, sure, okay, yeah, whatever.
Sure. All right, man.
All right.
Playing with fire, and I'm not talking about the red buff. Should.
Oh, they're jumping straight in on top of Light. He is the carry, like I said. There's a hostile takeover, though, and that's a lot of damage. No bailout for you, and Shun keeps himself alive back over the wall to keep himself going. Nice knock up there to try and keep Yagao alive, but unfortunately for him, he gets right back into the fray. It's a 2-for-1 trade, though, and this is the crazy thing. Elk wasn't there. That was a 5v4 effectively in favor of Weibo, and they still come out the worst of it. Now the Shy taking a lot of damage. I don't know if he can stay here because with Shirley coming down, this could be just straight up a tower. They don't even have to stay for this. They can go for Baron.
By the way. This is Baron, yeah. Baron should just die. Weiwei and Blight are the two most important members for a contest, and they are both only now just about to respawn.
Shy has
and with
TP.
a Gwen and with a 2 IM AD carry, this should just be mincemeat. So Xiaohu and the Shy have to make the biggest mess in the pit in the history of League of Legends.
Here we go. Elk's got all of his summoners available to him. There's the Baron going down, confirmed. That's Shun getting that particular pick off for his team. Now the feathers will go flying. Can they get any kills? And this is the thing, you're in a bit of no man's land all of a sudden. The Aphelios is coming. Elk has to flash. And BLG will get themselves their Baron. They don't get any more kills in the exit, but they get the big purple worm.
To expend his flash, so that does feel bad, but one thing I want to highlight here, when Shun and Bin go in for this play, the mist from the Gwen actually blocks out not only the Renata ultimate, but the Keeper's Verdict at the same time. If Weibo was just a frame ahead, then he could have sent Bin back, and they probably could have killed Shun in the middle of that engage. A little bit unlucky as Yagao gets pulled over. On does buy him a fair amount of time, but unfortunately it's just not enough, whilst on the backside, Weiwei was always in no man's land. Yeah, I think it's just a bit of a toughie, Sheen. Maybe if they can get a good chunk onto someone here. The Shy's got Q3.
Oh, he goes on the Shun. That's the perfect target. And they're going to try and jump straight on top of everybody else. But Light is already dead. The hostile takeover is only good for nothing. Everyone is dead. And they tried to go for a fight. They didn't have damage. That could straight up be gained. You have Baron for 40 seconds. They could end it all here.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's dead. That's game. PLG just won off the back of a random skirmish in the mid lane because Weibo had to try and contest mid wave. And BLG will take us to a game 3. Much better look from BLG this time around. A lot more proactive tools. And it feels like that is definitely the name of the game in this series so far. It was Weibo with them in game number 1, BLG with them in game number 2. A lot easier to execute. And they'll take us to a game number 3. For this lineup, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it was BLG that knocked out Weibo in the spring playoffs. So you want to try and, place as high as you can and, try and roll the side of potentially, the teams that are slightly on lower, hot streaks, shall we say. But away from that, bans, picks are already coming in. Nico was left up because we had a lot of focus on some solo lane bans alongside some of the very prominent support and jungle bans. So BLG locking this one in, and I was on hiatus. I still remember that Yagao clip with Nico.
Yep.
As Weibo on the opposite side will pick up the Jace and the Maokai. So a much different flavor of draft already coming in from both teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, for BLG, we've already seen Yagao play this 5 times. Has a 100% win rate. He has not lost a game with this champion, so Yagao very, very comfortable with it. And I love what they're doing right now. Build up the Venn diagram of death. Wow. Get yourself some more dive buddies. Get yourself some more engage. Because in that last game, when they just had the more, kind of bog standard engage, it felt like they were far more comfortable. And now the Shy whipping out the cannon in that top side. And we're going to see a lot of top lane bans coming out here.
Yeah, we definitely are, man. I was going to say, all BLG need now is like Kennen and Samira, and they have the literal, Exodia Venn diagram comp. But they all have that one snatched away. So let's see what Weibo look to ban. Now that they've got the Kennen locked in, like you mentioned, it has to be bin champions more likely than not. It could look towards something like the Cassante, though, of course, Kennen can have a pretty okay time into it. Malphite makes a whole bunch of sense, of course, as an answer. When you're running Jace, you'll likely have an immobile 80 carry here, and you've got Kennen in the top side. It kind of is just 3 birds with 1 stone, so I like that Weibo are thinking about this one on BLG. You don't necessarily want to ban 80 carries because you don't have any yourself, so likely just looking towards supports here. First off the Nautilus, and then you can probably think about another engaged support here as well on top of that one for BLG.
Right, to see where they want to go. I would be surprised to see the Gwen not banned here. I feel like Gwen would just do so much to just mitigate it. No, they're going to go for the Gnar, so maybe we still see a Gwen coming out here for BLG. Would put them very damage focused, of course. Would mean that they were in a bit of a sticky situation in that regard, but I feel like if you're able to kind of get the mist off and drop, kind of hide behind the Gwen for when the roots come out, they just grasp from the Maokai, can definitely be a lot more powerful. But we'll see. No Xayah banned away or picked for Weibo for the moment. So they want to try and pick that one away or go for the Aphelios and maybe go for a Varus Heimerdinger. So this is very telegraphed. They're saying, look, we're not going to let you guys scale. We're not going to go for the scaling. We want to go for a full fights in this bot side.
Okay, this could be really, really fun, actually. So not only do you obviously call out the Varus and the Heimerdinger, but we've also started to see, those hybrid builds come out from the Varuses in the bottom side, where it's like, static shift / AP and kind of mixed damage. So we'll see, because right now Weibo are running like a bunch of poke and then, a Kennen. So
yeah,
I like where BLG are potentially going with that hover. I want the Ornn here. I think you need an over-the-top, overhead non-committal form of engage, so that if it looks good, you can just send Shun and Rakan in. I feel like picks like the Sion here and the Cassante kind of pale in comparison, because you need to be able to get on top of these targets who are going to be playing at range. It's still going to be relatively fine in lane, right? And if you can find those windows to engage, great. But I feel like if you go all out, you dive into Heimerdinger Varus, you're just asking to get one shot here. So let's see how BLG and how Bin plays out this Cassante, because Weibo have a bunch of poke and a bunch of, we are just going to try and take control of an area and send projectiles your way. And if you come into our zone, we will try and we will effectively just one-shot you with all of the CC that we have.
And there's the Heimerdinger. It's kind of part and parcel now. The Varus Heimerdinger, very prominent at the start of this split, has been coming back a little bit. And now we start to see where this team, where it kind of lands itself. And it does feel like it does have a place. However, if you do get caught out early, if you do not get the dominance that you need in this bot lane as early as you need it, that's when this poke starts to become a little less, oppressive. Poke always looks completely broken when it gets ahead, but looks pales, as you said, in comparison to most other forms of DPS once you get later onto the game, and if you're not finding yourself 3, 4, 5,000 gold ahead. We'll have to wait and see how both these teams want to go for. We'll see if the Shy is a static Shiv user on the Kennen or not. And we'll also see if Billy can continue their kind of dominance over the rest of the LPL. They may lose to JDG, but if they don't lose to anybody else, they are still a scary damn team coming into this season. We have to wait to see now. We're all leaving everything on the riff for these two sides. Both desperate to keep their wins going. Both desperate to try and put themselves in better standing towards the end of the split.
Yeah, absolutely. Standing is everything. I like that you mentioned for BLG that story. It's such an interesting one from a team that, for many of us, I feel like were potentially going to fail the the over-the-top expectations that I suppose were set for them, but they blew them out of the water a little bit more than that. They want to continue the streak up towards the top of the table.
Maybe going to be enough. A bonk on the head and first blood from Shun. The Wukong's just too damn strong, and that's a really nice swap of pace here from BLG. It's about it, like, they're just like, no matter what happens, this thing always never over. But that guy's dead.
That guy's dead.
I don't know why on flashed, but now we're gonna see the Shy going back in. It's been a long day for you.
Not only has it been a long day for me, we were both so on the same page. Yep, that guy's dead.
Yeah, that guy's dead.
That
guy's dead. Anyway, back in, undied, lost flash, and now we can see this dragon being taken.
All right, let's see if Shun can win the 50-50. Elk has pretty poor, well, he's got not a lot of ammo left in Graviton. Maybe he can swap over in time, but Shun was just not in position to go for the steal.
Wait.
Yeah, so that looks funky to us, for clarity, but obviously Nico pressed W, and there's obviously that brief half a second where Nico's invisible, but that doesn't really show to us in the spectator. So I know it looked like he flashed and did nothing. Being level 5, you'd think he would, and if he does, then this should be an easy dive.
It should be, but he's not quite level 6 just yet. Now they get the Cyclone down. They should have just enough damage. Even the exhaust right at the end. Elk picks up that kill. Thank you very much. He knew the exact timing of the flash, so maybe just not feeling as confident. But Dragon now on the field. Maybe actually that, you know what? Now we're more hypothesizing. He wanted to make sure he had his flash and all for this fight because he needs to stop Weibo from getting the stacks.
Yeah, I wonder if that's why he was hesitant as well on using the ultimate. Like, even if he does find the pick, maybe he feels like it's actually just higher value to hold on to it, wait for a wombo combo moment, and then you can more guaranteed win out on this objective. Because even if you find that pick, Weibo will still have control of the river, like how they half do now, but they're starting to lose it, and BLG are just kind of brute forcing them out.
They are brute forcing them out. Weiwei does not have flash. Remember, On does pop the quickness. We're taking a lot of poke damage here between this Jace. Oh, nice little ultimate. And they're going to treat putting in the damage here. There's going to be the Slicing Maelstrom. Good Moonlight Vigil into the pop blossom means that Wei goes down as well. So you still have a jungler here for the side of BLG. Can they go for the fight afterwards, though? There's a nice shot blast! Predicted where he would go. Xiao Hu picks up that kill, and Weibo get control over this bot side.
How much further are they willing to go? It's just Yagao and Shun.
They got it. Oh, here we go. They're going to try and go for it. Not going to be able to try and steal it away, but can they get the fight afterwards? That is the question. They're going to jump into the Shy, who is caught in the Baron Pit. They will get him as a consolation prize. Nothing else, though. Bonk on the head does secure that kill. BLG will just have to reset. While it's happening, though, look at bot lane. The reset of the minions will take down that tower. Let's throw out the Moonlight Vigil, which does mean Crisp is dead. Okay, this is a much different situation. On gets taken out, though, by Xiao Hu. And now the Elder down to half HP. This is going to be a straight-up flip. It's going to be a 4v3 in favor of BLG, but they need to try and find a flank. You can see Yagao cosplaying as the Rakan, looking to try and see if he can find a good pos blossom. Weiwei's been caught out, and now Weiwei can be destroyed. It's not a flip, if you don't have a jungler, he needs to survive, but he cannot. Elk will not get killed off by Xiaohu, and now Light and Xiaohu firing from both sides. The Elder down to about 1500, finally secured. Now do they have the damage? There's a Cyclone putting in the Pop Blossom as well. BLG will not be found today. All they needed was one opportunity and they fight right back onto Weibo.
What did you say 2 minutes ago? The longer this takes for Weibo to the closer we get to Elder being on the map. And what do you know? BLG win the most important fight of them all. They're all dead. Weiwei is going to respawn in 10 seconds. That's the closest supporting member. BLG can end the game right here with Elder. They've got away.
They've got away. They can push up the towers as well with the static shiv. I just saw it there a
Lilia
second ago.
přichází
And that
na
means that
first
Crisp
pick
has no way to
pro
defend this. I
Klida.
don't know if they can end the game. They're going to have to wait to see if they can try and build off of this small wave, but a lot of very, very low health
Kamil
bars on
a
these minions. They're trying
společně
to
s Nedalí
defend them.
Wunder hrával Kamil vždycky,
They
i
jump
když
up,
ten
they
čempion
burst
nebyl v
them
metě a na
down.
volu
Weiwei is
100%
dead. Crisp
ban,
doesn't
nebo
have
ne
a flash,
100%,
has
ale
no way to
co se
defend
playoff
this.
týká,
And
tak skoro v
BLG
každém
will
zápase byla
only
Kamil
lose to
zabanovaná.
JDG
A
as they'll
kombinace s Nedalí
continue
je
up to
samozřejmě
8-1.
smrtelná. Jsem rád, že to vidíme, jsem rád, že tohle padá proti tu. Je to podle mě ještě větší, než se teďka na první pohled zdá, ale taky bude důležitý vidět, čím odpoví JDG, co bude to play, jak vypadá to na Bolibéra.
BLG win
Ještě jednou krásné ráno
after
všem.
that entire game of struggling.
Ty vole.
Poledne.
Mně se to včera trochu zvrtlo, já jsem ještě měl hrozně důležitou práci. Si do tříně budu 4 do rána, takže já jsem vstal.
As BLG
Vlastně docela před chvílí. Krásné poledne všem. Doufám, že zase budete mít nějaký dobrý oběd k dnešním zápasu.